Hi, my name is Ashwini Chube. You all know me. And if you don't, I'm just introducing myself. I'm the founder of Unicorn Insight, which is my spiritual entrepreneurship business. I'm also the founder of Unicorn University, which is our learning forum. Many of you are my students. Many of you have done workshops with me or done some kind of learnings with me, and immense gratitude for showing that level of trust and faith. And I always feel that even if you've done a small workshop, I will never forget you. So thank you all who have ever done any workshop, any class, any healing, anything with me. Because I know all of us are from different walks of life. I have not met some of you in person. Like for example, Mohini auntie, I have not met you in person. Geeta auntie, I have not met you in person. Vidhi, I have not met you in person. Shanaz, Tanaz, I think, but we all have connected at some level. And I hope very soon the world opens up and we meet once again. So, what it's this whole spiritual entrepreneurship all about? But I'm also quickly going to go live on Facebook for a few minutes so that people who miss on this know what they are missing, and probably they can watch this later. So, hi everyone. At some point of time in our lives, we wanted to stand in our power, get totally independent, and not be dependent on anyone. I have been in a corporate job for 8 years, and I have lived the corporate life. And today, when I'm living as a spiritual entrepreneur, I know those are two extremes. Those are two totally different things. And what drove me to spiritual entrepreneurship was I didn't make that choice. That choice found me. Or I would rather say that spiritual entrepreneurship found me. I did not find it. I never planned. In fact, I used to always say that I'm never going to leave my job ever, and I will work till I retire and make a big saving for my future and all of that. I never wanted to be a spiritual entrepreneur. If you ask me, when I was in my final year of MBA, but your calling always finds you, and life has been very different. But yes, there are so many new aspects of life which unfolded. There are so many things which happened, and I can definitely see that there has been immense spiritual growth on this path. Having said that, why are we here? We are here because so many of you are looking to find that calling or that life purpose or that thing which will be everything for you, with which you can work anywhere in the world. You can do the things you love doing, you can serve people, and you can also make a money out of it. So I call it your ikigai, or your life purpose. And if your life purpose is being a spiritual entrepreneur, you are at the right place. So not necessarily everyone's calling is being a light worker or being a spiritual healer. There are people whose calling involves working for, working, um, training some people who are underprivileged. Some people's life purpose includes being a doctor. People's life purpose, yes, it also, there are people whose life purpose involves working in a corporate sector. So don't have any kind of shame if you feel, oh, I'm in a 9 to 5 job. That could be your life purpose. I quit that because that was not my life purpose. But if anyone is working in a very good corporate job, you're enjoying it, you're earning good money out of it, and you are doing really well, that is your life purpose. So don't let anyone tell you that your life purpose only has to be a spiritual entrepreneur. Because many people ask me, oh, I learned reiki just like you, does that mean now I have to quit my job? I said, no, you don't have to. Probably you are meant to do better in your job. There are people, I have clients who have started doing so much better in their careers, in their corporate careers. There are people who have created new projects in their office. They are helping people, they are empowering their juniors, they are breaking the politics of the organization. They are making the world a better place. Your calling makes the world a better place, so never forget that. But if your calling is being a spiritual entrepreneur, you are at the right place in this webinar. So I see a few more folks who are watching us on Facebook live, and thank you for watching. And if you'd like to join us on Zoom, I have shared the link in Unicorn University. So just click that link. I have a video below which there is a link. You can just join here because this gives more personal touch and this is more interactive. So that's why I thought I will just telecast first few minutes on the live. But for all of you who are watching me live, you feel free to click on the link and join. The link is shared in Unicorn University. So thank you for watching, guys. So, So let us look at spiritual entrepreneurship. What does spiritual entrepreneurship mean, and what is spiritual entrepreneurship all about? Now, friends, we all are, we all have that spiritual side within us, and we all believe that with the spiritual side, we can serve the world, we can make the world a better place. So, when you look at being a spiritual entrepreneur, you are trying to reach out to more and more people with your whole aim as a light worker. Now, who's a light worker? A light worker is a pioneer in raising vibrations of the planet. Okay? Anyone who is raising vibrations of the planet through their spiritual work is a light worker. It's not a coincidence you are here, because taking time out on a Sunday evening and coming for this webinar itself means you are a light worker. The term light worker was first coined by Diana Cooper, by Doreen Virtue in one of her books. And since then, the word has been very famous. Now, in today's talk, so we have three parts about this talk. In the first part of the today's talk, I'm quickly going to talk about what are some of the basic things about being a spiritual entrepreneur, and how do you begin that journey, which is, of course, this is a free webinar. Then, of course, we have a quick question answer round, which we will be having towards the end of this. And also, I'm going to talk about a workshop which I'm taking, which is a paid workshop. So, of course, today's webinar is free. You can take whatever you wish to, whatever learnings you wish to from today's webinar, you can take that. And there's also a workshop, which is a paid workshop. If anyone of you wishes to do it, you can get in touch with me. For people who are on this webinar, they will, of course, get some good discount for the workshop. So I'm going to talk about that again towards the end. But what will that workshop cover? First, I'm quickly going to put that in front of you, and then we are going to look at how to begin as a spiritual entrepreneur. So firstly, you're going to identify your niche. The first day, you're going to identify your niche. I'm going to talk about what's your niche in a bit. Your niche is, are you a healer? Are you a teacher? Are you a coach? Or are you someone who likes to deal with products? Or are you someone who teaches? Or are you someone who is an influencer, speaker? Or are you everything? That is your niche. The second day, we are going to talk about what services you can provide and how can you take steps to provide services, teachings, and what if you want to sell something, how can you do that? I'm going to give you step-by-step approach. Third day, we are going to talk about product creation. So all of this is going to be an online workshop on WhatsApp for 7 days, plus the seventh day, we are going to have a Zoom call. Okay. What I'm talking to right now is about a paid workshop, which will happen a week down the line. Then we are going to also learn about putting yourself out and coming out of your spiritual closet. I'm also going to introduce to you all about that in a bit, and marketing your tools and all of that. Then we are going to talk about building your clientele. How do you build your clientele? How to not rush and just build your clientele. And on the sixth and final day, we are going to talk about energetically creating that niche. And seventh day, yes, we all will meet like this, and we will do the workshop face to face on Zoom. So that will be the structure of paid workshop. But yes, before that, today, which is a free event, I'm going to introduce you to all of this. If you wish to go deeper, you can always go for the paid workshop. If you're happy with what you learn now, that will be your journey. And I will not say that you should only come for workshop, or I will not say that don't come for workshop. Anything, it's totally up to you. It's your free will. Okay. So wait for the end of the workshop, where I will give you the price of the workshop and all the details, but all of that will be later. So firstly, I'm going to talk about what is a light worker's purpose and how does all of that work. We were all sent before we were born. Okay. We were given a purpose to live. When we were born, before we were born, we sat with our spirit guides, our guardian angels, our entire team of beings. And we were told that you're going to go on earth. Now you're going to take birth in a human body. And this is going to be your purpose. But then when we were born, we passed through what we call as the wheel of amnesia. Okay, we all pass through the wheel of amnesia. And when we passed through the wheel of amnesia, we did not remember what we were supposed to do. Okay. Now, we came on earth and we did not understand all of this because we forgot. सब पता था लेकिन सब भूल गए. Okay. As we started growing up, we started going in the world of fear or ego. What is the world of fear or ego? Where we believe that competition hai. What if someone is better than me? What I will take as much as I'll take as much quick decisions as possible. Be very logical, be very practical, and not listen to my heart. And I will not listen to my heart because listening to heart can be dangerous. Only stupid people do that. And then we in the due course of all of this, we forgot everything. We started living out of fear of other people's judgment about us, and we started living a mundane life. Now, as I said, some of us have a life purpose of working in corporate jobs, so there is nothing wrong in that. But if your life purpose is not that, and if your life purpose is something else, and if you are still doing something which is not your life purpose, the universe will push you. Okay, which means the universe will put you in a situation where you will have a toxic culture at work. You will have such a toxic culture that you will feel very pathetic about going to work. You will keep falling sick, or you will lose your job. You will lose your job again and again. You join a new company, you lose the job. You join a new company, you lose the job. And then you will not know what to do. And you will keep searching jobs after jobs after jobs. And you will say, life mein kuch stability nahi hai. Okay. But that is because you are not living your life purpose. Now, your life purpose is your personal mission. It is something you are born to do. And when you discover your life purpose, things start getting very smooth. It takes time to settle, of course. You will not jump like, okay, this is my life purpose and I've started immediately earning money. No, that's not going to be the thing. But as Paulo Coelho says, it's okay to be disappointed and face difficulties in the life of your dreams other than doing something when you're not interested. Imagine struggling for 14 hours doing something you love, and imagine something struggling for 14 hours doing something you hate. Which is better? Struggle will be there in both cases. Even if you take the most practical calculated decisions, you will face struggle, because when you're going against your life purpose, you will face a lot of struggles. Okay. Now, coming to personal mission, we all have lessons to learn. Some of us have lessons like forgiveness, compassion, patience, unconditional love. All of these are our personal missions. When we are born on earth, we say, okay, this is exactly what I want to spread on earth, and then we forget. But along with this personal learning mission, we also have a global mission of sharing the talents. So I recently read somewhere that the more you share with people, the more you heal. Okay, so if you are someone who is wanting to start a spiritual business, the more you will share with people, the more you will heal. Okay, now what are the reasons why people don't do well in spiritual business, and why is it that when people say that, even I want to be a spiritual entrepreneur, but I'm just not able to do that? There are a lot of things which act as obstacles in between. Okay, now what does spiritual, the first, before that, the first point is, what does spiritual business cover? Spiritual business covers healing. So you are any kind of healer, a Reiki healer, pranic healer, angelic healer. It could involve being a teacher, just like me. Like I'm a Reiki teacher. I'm an angel teacher, which is, I'm a spiritual teacher. That's why I put it everything under spiritual teacher. If anyone is a yoga teacher or anyone is anything relating to any spiritual work, you can be a teacher. You can also be a tarot reader, angel card reader, just like me. Or any other divination method. Like we have runes, we have psychic readings, we have channelings, we have mediumship. We have all these people who are into any kind of readings. Then there is crystals. I know so many of us are, so crystals, again, that comes a little bit towards merchandise, in which you are either selling crystals or dealing with crystals, crystal figurines, angel figurines, dealing with essential oils, dealing with any products which help someone spiritually. You could also be influencers, you could be yoga teachers, you could be someone who is coaching people. We also have psychologists. EFT healers, like there are so many. Okay, whatever it is, anything to do with transformation of the human race will all come under um, being a spiritual, being a light work. Okay, and under whatever brand you start your business, that is spiritual entrepreneurship. So I think already we have Vaishali, who has already started her brand. We of course have Namrata, Namrata also works very closely with me, who is already a spiritual entrepreneur. Vidhi is someone who is wanting to launch. Do you want to write in the chat about how many of you are into it? If you are already doing something, please type in the chat saying I am already doing it, or I would like to explore. You can just write in the chat box. All right, take your time and type. So typically when it comes to a spiritual business, um, there are, so these are the typical types of spiritual businesses which happen. So if any one of you are interested in any of these, I've just put it for you. This is my area of work. The first step is shortlisting what is it that you're looking at. Okay, now there are a few things which you are going to look at when you begin a spiritual business, which is the first thing I told you about. What will be your niche? Okay, whether your niche will be, I gave you a few examples of niche. Yes, Shamika, I know you are into salts and soaps, for positive, yeah, designed for positivity, but never marketed. But yes, it is spiritual business, because if you are using products which are easy on skin, even things like salts, all of this are, that will be a part of spiritual business. So best wishes to you. So anything, all the examples which I gave you were spiritual business. So first, decide your niche. What is it that you want to begin with? Secondly, creating a brand, knowing that this is going to be my brand, this is what I'm going to look at. And I see a few of you are doing very well already. I see a lot of you doing some amazing stuff on social media, putting yourself out. Like I see Vaishali putting some amazing things daily. I see Namrata doing very well. I also, Shamika, I've seen your product. So, that is where you're beginning to put yourself out and you're doing some wonderful things. Namrata, you're confused, Atma. It's okay. We all are confused. And, I always say that take the next step. Just take the next step. Sometimes we don't have to know, because when I began Unicorn Insight, it was very different. I began it as a training company because I did not want to get out of my spiritual closet, being a spiritual teacher. What log kya sochenge yaar, investment banker ladki hai, pata nahi kahan pe aa gayi, what is she doing? Like I had that lot of fear about it. But slowly, gradually, my Unicorn Insight took its own form and shape and structure. So yes, so Sriloka, I know you are an Access practitioner, Reiki practitioner, and you would like to receive money. Yes, it's your birthright. Money is given by God, abundance is given by the universe. So, of course, and Vaishali, I know you're already in. So, thank you to all who have shared in chat. Okay, so the first point, I hope you're taking notes. First point is knowing your niche. Second point is, will you be working alone or will you be working with a co-worker? Now, in energy healing, I would always say that even if you decide to work with co-workers, make sure that your energy levels and their energy levels are similar. Your commitment and their commitment is similar. Your ability to put yourself out and theirs is similar. If there is going to be a mismatch, it's not going to work out. So if you're going to work with a coworker, I always feel that if you are, I see a lot of husband wife working together as into spiritual business. I think many of that is something um, which I saw a lot of people getting success with that. But I always still say that even if it is your husband, even if it's your best friend, even if it is your sister, make sure that your level of energy, your level of commitment to the business and your level of passion and your energy is same. Otherwise your business might really suffer. So are you going to work alone or are you going to work with a co-worker? Are you going to work from home or are you going to actually go for a healing center? In current times, it's safer to work from home. But when the world opens up again, probably if you have a healing center, do you want to take that or do you want to still work from home? Also, do you want to work with clients or do you want to work with students? In my case, I work with both. I have clients and I have students. I do clients healings, coaching, transformations, and I do teachings for my students. Most important, how do you feel about your work? And we are going to do a quick exercise for that to understand how you feel about that work. But the most important part here is coming out of what we call as the spiritual closet, which means not thinking of log kya kahenge. People will think she's gone bad, she's doing mumbo jumbo, she's doing some jadoo tona kind of a things. Like, yeah, you will have people judging you. You will have people judging you no matter what you do. Please understand that. So rather do things which you want to do rather than giving everyone else their say about it, right? Now, what are some of the reasons people don't do well in spiritual business? I'm quickly going to put it across. The first reason is using head and not heart. I hear a lot of people saying, please give me strategies to maximize my business. And I said, don't use your head. Using your head and calculating sales only will work for a non-spiritual business. It will not work for a spiritual business. Because in spirituality, the most people who are going to connect to you are going to read your energy. They're only going to come to you if they like your energy. If they don't, no matter what you do. I see healers, therapists, there are so many groups, healer therapist groups, the people are bombarding with advertisements. And guys, in case we get logged out of this meeting because it's a limited one, please feel free to click on the same link so that you can join the meeting once again. All right. Um, just save the link and join it if the meeting gets cut just absurdly. Okay. So when people use their head, what happens is they calculate. Now people are going to read your energy. So I see a lot of these healer therapist groups on Facebook where people bombard their business advertisements. They do not get a single person. I had one of my students reach out to me saying, my business is not doing well. Please tell me strategies. I told her there are no strategies. Work on your energy. Do not use your head. Use your heart. Connect to people. Give that human touch. Give that aura where you would like to contribute to people's lives. And yes, don't do work for free because it's, receiving abundance. I'm going to talk about receiving abundance towards the end of this. So if you use your head and not your heart, your business might not do well. Secondly, feeling too timid to try. What is too timid to try? You don't want to put yourself out. You feel that a lot of people feel, name, I will not reach out to people. It will, if there is one end where people are bombarding their flyers, there is another place where people are not at all reaching out to people. They are just staying in their closet, feeling I'm not good enough. I still will take time and all of that. So if you're too timid to try, and if you're not going to take that step, if you're not going to create a structure towards what you're going to do, it's not going to work. Thirdly, taking guided action. If you don't take a guided action, if you feel guided to do something, go for it. I was guided to do this workshop. I am guided to do all my work. In fact, I do not plan what is going to happen in month. I just get guided. I take guided action, or clients approach me and say, Ashwini, can you please take that workshop for me? Or can you please take? And then I just announce it. And then people come, people join. That is how energy works. A lot of ease, joy, glory for all of us who are access practitioners here. We have Shriloka, we have Namrata, we have Darshu. All of us are access practitioners. In access, we do not talk about struggle. We talk about ease, joy, and glory. Secondly, giving versus receiving. Yes, it's very important to give, but it's also important to receive. If you have a lot of guilt about receiving, okay, if you have a guilt about receiving, yeah, I think Vaishali, even you are an access practitioner, right? And some of you here are already on my access broadcast group. So, guys, if you are going to feel guilty about receiving, you're never going to receive. Okay, as you said, Shriloka, it's important to receive. Yes, you have to eat food. You have a house to run. You have a family to take care of. You have responsibilities to. So you really have to receive. And when you receive, ask the universe, what can you give me? What magic can you create here? Now, people operate out of 5 big things which do not allow them to receive. First is obligation, where they believe मुझे उसको मदद करनी है because वो बेचारा बहुत मुश्किल में है. See, people who are in the victim zone, and if we try to tell them that please get out of victim zone, I want to help you, and they are not ready, they will not be ready ever. Rather than that, allow the pull mechanism to come, which means allow people to come in your life. Just tell this to the universe, that universe, please send the people who are ready to receive. I'm sharing tricks from my business with you. And this all is practically applied. This is not read from any book. But if you're going to say that, please allow me to help you. I knew so many people when I began my career as a spiritual entrepreneur. I used to tell people, please come for my workshops. And people were like, no, I can't come and all of that. And I used to feel bad because I was like, I want to do so much for them. I want to help them. I want them to learn. But if someone is not ready, they are just not ready. So obligation is not going to work. Secondly, people who don't need your service. There are people who want to stay stuck. They don't need your service. So do not go behind people who need your service. You may feel they need your service, but they may say they don't need. Respect their decision. Thirdly, passive aggression, which means people who connect to you, but then later they don't show up and later they ghost you, which means they say, I'm interested in doing a workshop with you. Then the moment you tell them it's a paid workshop, they run away. They're not meant to be, because I always believe if you want to do betterment in your life and if you're ready to invest in yourself, you will grow more. And I've done that. I've invested a lot of money in learning, and trust me, it's all come back to me because I contribute to clients' lives. I help them transform their lives, and the money comes back to me in form of my fees. So do not be passive aggressive. If someone has asked and they've hosted you and they didn't do your workshop, don't keep khunnas with them. Okay, they will come to you when the time is right. There was a reason they didn't. The next is feeling guilty about receiving money, feeling that money is not spiritual. And once you feel if money is not spiritual, and you might just say that, no, I'm not going to receive because I just want to help people. But you also have to, you have a family, you have responsibilities. So it's safe to receive money. God will not punish you. In fact, God wants to serve you through your life purpose, and God wants you to really get a lot of abundance as you do this. Finally, don't go out of control, which means do not keep things, have a balance between both giving and receiving, and have a balance between being, what I mean is being out of control is people are sometimes too much into intuition and they don't take guided actions. Or people, like operating from head is only taking actions, being very, very, very aggressive, and being out of control is just living in intuition. पता नहीं कैसे होगा, क्या होगा, मुझे करना है, but this thing doesn't work. These are two extremes. So don't be out of control. Also remember, very important, the amount of money you make in spiritual business is directly proportional to your self-esteem. If you have a low self-esteem, if you feel you're not good enough, you're not going to get anything. If you have a high self-esteem, I don't mean be egoistic and be bad to people. Okay, but you have to have the level of self-confidence. You have to give a level of assertiveness, at the same time being loving and compassionate. People will like that energy and they will come to you once they see a leader, a compassionate, loving leader within you. So your aim should be to be a leader, to be compassionate, to be loving, and to be assertive, which means if there are clients who do not pay you money, there are people who are taking due advantage of you. Also, I know there are a lot of women who might get advances from men who are just trying to, just be a little, what I can say, they're just trying to say, I want to do friendship with you, and they will inquire about the workshops. And you have to be assertive and you have to make it very clear that this platform is only for spiritual learning and healing. No other advances will be encouraged. You have to be upfront there. And at the same time, you also have to be compassionate to people. So do not be afraid. If you are a woman, I think all of us on this forum right now who are watching in this Zoom meeting are all women. So do not be afraid of having male clients. I always say that because I really have some very good, very kind male clients. If there are creepy people, I make sure with my energy, I just tell them to just get lost. But at the same time, if you're going to only keep your thing as I only want female clients, that's not going to help, because there are so many men who are wanting to get empowered and who want to really get, they want to be the divine masculine. So just allow them, allow yourself to contribute to their lives as well. And for all the creepy people, keep them away. So this is a very important aspect of being a spiritual teacher. So high self-esteem equals a good level of money and abundance. So if you're not making enough money, check how your self-esteem is. Is your self-esteem very low? You think you're not good enough. You think you can't do anything well. If that is the case, that's the reason why prosperity is not coming to you. Also, if you're going to be jealous of other healers, you're going to continuously gossip about them, say that they're not good, I am better than them, I know so much. It's not going to work. Never talk bad about anyone. Everyone is living their own battle, because that is going to lower down your abundance. Okay. See, we have less than a minute left. I want you all to walk you through a meditation activity. So let us do that when we resume this video again, because I think this video will get cut anytime. So again, click on the same link, guys. Once you click on the same link, we'll again join this workshop. And once you join this workshop, I'm going to give you a quick guided meditation, followed by um, the talk about my workshop, which is a paid workshop about being a spiritual entrepreneur, which is happening a week down the line.